Dan here for Six Towns Radio. I'm here at the Circle Bar at the Regent Theatre, a new venue for an interview with a couple of the guys from the play That Goes Wrong. Thank you very much for joining me, Patrick and Ed. I came to watch you both on Monday. How'd you survive? First question, straight in there. How'd you survive?
By the skin of our teeth sometimes, I think.
Lots of rest between shows.
Yeah. I've got a relatively safe role in the show. Generally speaking, I walk around and say things, whereas this fella...
Exceptions. I'm very lucky I get to throw myself about, normally with objects of ridiculous bulk.
Toppling off things, balancing on things, climbing things, fighting things.
Full-on gymnastic routine going on.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Yeah, straight to bed after the show.
Oh, of course.
Possibly by way of a pint.
Or two.
Well, you know.
I think that would be the least that you could expect, to be honest. There's just a pint or two.
You do need a bit of a wind down. Everyone sort of before the show goes, I'm just going to pop home after the show tonight. And then at the end of it, you're like, I'm wired. Are we just going to go chill out somewhere for a bit, please?
You can see all of you from like when you come and do the curtain call and the bows at the end. You're like almost as if that was brilliant. Let's do it again. And you kind of like, as an audience, maybe like, do it again, do it again.
Well, I don't know about you, Paddy, but I love the curtain call because it's the only time in the whole 2 hours that I'm allowed to smile.
Yeah.
Because my character just has to be so very rambunctiously angry the whole time.
Yes, we play the two furious straight.
It's a brilliant sigh of relief when those lights go back up the end and I can actually smile at human beings.
So for the people who have not seen it at home, which I'm sure there's a tiny percentage who haven't seen it or have not heard anything about it, just explain what the play That Goes Wrong is.
So the play That Goes Wrong is sort of a play within a play. It's about a fictional drama society, the Townley Polytechnic Drama Society, who are trying to put on a very creaky, dated murder mystery to the best of their ability, and it going catastrophically wrong. And the joy of the show is sort of seeing the fictional actors who are trying to put it on hold everything together as it falls apart. So I play the director who cast himself as the main part as well, obviously, and just gets increasingly furious as his masterpiece is trodden on. And I believe, in the backstory to the show, I believe Ed's character and I recently fought an election for
directorial power.
Yeah, right. And you lost.
I did, yeah.
Beat that.
I had it handed to me, didn't I? Yeah.
But you're still in it though.
Absolutely.
Your character is still in the play. So that's how is it for an actor's point of view that your actors playing, I wouldn't say bad actors, but amateur dramatic.
You wouldn't be wrong.
Actors.
It's been drummed into us during rehearsal. You're not playing bad actors. It's weird. It feels a lot like we're playing bad actors, but we're not playing bad actors.
How is it?
It's interesting. Yeah, we actually spent the first couple of weeks of rehearsals, of which we only had 4 anyway. So it was quite a hefty portion of the rehearsal time, where we would do a lot of work on the characters of the Townley Polytechnic Drama Society. Doing little improvisations where we were, Robert and Chris instead of Thomas and the inspector. And it was really weird kind of drumming in to ourselves how those characters would react in these ridiculous circumstances, where you just want to die inside, but then you just have to have that mentality of, no, I've got to carry on because the show must go on and we really have to power through this.
Yeah. They're all clowns, really, the Polytechnic Society guys, and the secret to clowning is coming up with solutions to problems that always make the problem worse. You've always got to come up with an answer to it. Whatever it is, you need an answer, and the answer needs to make it worse.
There's a couple of, in fact, throughout the whole of it, for anybody who's done amateur dramatics, whether they've been part of it themselves through college or school, or been in an audience, you can associate with bits so much that instead of laughing, you're going, oh, I know somebody like that. Yeah. And it just makes you kind of cringe to the point where you're going, I've done that as well. Like, do you ever find, or when you were in the rehearsal process, did you ever go, oh my god, that's me. I've spotted me in that character.
We all did, yeah. Within the first couple of days, everyone had told their best story of things that genuinely went wrong on stage. From and things that actually happened in our show, from things like drawing on lines to missing props to
all sorts of stuff.
Forgetting whole speeches.
It is awful. The moments when you realise that you're like your character are just awful.
Yes.
We were in the pub with the director one night quite early on, and the other Ed in the cast, who I was at drama school with, the director of the show, taught us both at drama school. And after a couple of beers, he was like, "Well, of course we cast you because you are your characters." And we both had this horrible moment where I was like, "Oh God, I'm a pompous ass, and you're a nervous little wreck of a man." And he said, "Oh God."
Character assassination by the way of just acting.
By the way,
That's
character
how it's
assassination
giving us
by
a
job.
job.
Here you are.
There we go. You're so in tune with each
Yeah.
other. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
at least we're getting paid to be character assassinated.
Yeah, professionally character assassinated.
Yes,
I
quite.
think that's the way.
Absolutely.
It is called The Play That Goes Wrong.
Sure.
Is there anything that's happened in the show that isn't supposed to go wrong and has caught you completely off guard when you don't know how to respond, or you just go?
Yeah, numerous times. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular which stands out?
We had a bit of a rough week in Coventry, which was is that the second week or the third week? It was very early on in the tour, and just the set did not want to play nice.
No.
Bits and as we said, Ed, who plays the butler, he just kept getting clocked on the head by different parts of the set falling. I mean bits of the set that are going to fall at some point.
The set.
Well, yes, yeah, an entire wall of the set that's supposed to fall right at the very end fell about a third of the way through the first act, just right on top of his head.
On his head.
And the three of us are on stage, and we all just kind of froze for a second, thinking, I mean, do we carry on?
This was one of those moments where I turned into my character for real and started saying everybody else's lines for them. Was like, right, no, we're going to carry on with the play, carry on with the play.
It was, yeah, and it does, it worries you, but there's ways around it.
So
and it works.
is it just a case of embrace it, let's move on? Similar to how your character would really see the mistakes in the play. You go,
it's
just we need to get to the end, and we're going to, even if it kills us.
Yeah.
Is that one of those cases? Where
embrace it, seethe, and continue.
Sometimes cry on set.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be what
Sometimes.
happens. How much of rehearsal? You said you did 4 weeks of rehearsal to do this.
Yes.
Getting in position for certain moments, being in the right point for certain moments, standing in the right place. How much practice does that take? Because I left the theatre on Monday going, that is incredible. That one, nobody's dead, and two, this is like 5, 6 nights, 7 shows of this constantly. You need to be in the same position. You need to be ready. How much practice goes into that, or is it a case of the first rehearsal and you go, right, I need to remember this now. Is it methodical?
There are parts of the show that you sort of find your way through, and they get blocked. You get sort of, you get a shape of the scene put together by the director. And there's a bit of the show which we drilled, and we drilled, and we drilled, and we drilled, and we drilled. The last sort of 10 minutes when everything really starts coming apart. We do it
to be safe. That has to be.
We do it at least once a day. In the last sort of week and a bit of rehearsal. So we had a very strange rehearsal process where we'd spend the morning doing these hilarious improvisations, this sort of all this clowning, and then the afternoon just drilling and drilling and drilling and drilling this physical sort of choreography.
But like you sang, like you touched on, there were bits that you just had to kind of work out on your own. You got given the idea of it. Well, by way of an example, to do the 2 extremes, there's a bit where you narrowly avoid getting hit in the face, and the way to make that safe is to be on a very specific mark.
Oh yeah.
And that once he's on that, then the crew backstage will fire off the thing, and then it doesn't hit him in the face. There's a bit shortly after that where I'm holding props against the wall with my limbs, and I didn't successfully do that without dropping anything until the opening performance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every day in rehearsal, something fell.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. You just, no, not again. And then we were open night, and whether it was adrenaline that carried us through or what, but there was no issues at all.
Yeah.
When you get into a theatre and in front of a live audience, obviously that extra bit of pressure's there. But I guess the pressure can turn into the adrenaline to the point where everything hits. Do the audience ever get too involved or too Larry to the point where they think they can start to shout out? Is there any point of that?
Oh, it's not. That's not too. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, time for encouragement, if anything.
Yeah, there are little parts of the show. It hasn't happened in Stoke this week, but ordinarily by now somebody has heckled me at some point. I might just lose my rag with them. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the more involved audiences get, the better. Like, a couple of people choose weird points to decide to contribute, but you've got to deal with it. We sort of invite it by interacting with people before the show, and occasionally at the interval if we've got the energy.
Yeah.
And by sort of the audience really is the final character in the play. So rehearsing it is very strange. It's like rehearsing it when you're one person short, because the stimulus that you get from the audience is really drives the show. Like for me, the idea that all these idiots are laughing at my masterpiece is what really drives my character throughout.
I think that showed on Monday. I think, and I don't know if I can say this without giving much. Obviously, it's just the very first bit on stage. # spoilers. Turn off if you've not seen it. The very first part of the show is obviously we've got stage managers running around. But when you walk on stage and you introduce what's happening, I think there was a bit where we were very British of an audience when you started to talk about the show and we applauded and then you shouted at us in character for applauding. And I was like, oh, I can see what's going to go on now. And you're like, it does ease people in. Does it ease you as an actor to kind of go, okay, I get to step out and talk one-to-one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They get what's going to happen.
I love it. I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet with theatre, that if you don't break the fourth wall and if you don't engage with the idea that you're all people in a room together, you sort of might as well be watching the telly. I really love to let people know you're here, we're here, we know you're here. Yeah. Let's sort of do this thing together. It's like contact. It makes a really big difference. And you have no idea how hard I work to make people clap at the wrong point. Every night I come out trying to find a way to guarantee that they do it.
I was just going to ask.
It's quite a bugbear earlier.
It really is.
I was just asking, that must be like, apart from everything kind of being meticulous with like times and you've got to be there, to make people clap without having to go, I know you clap. Yeah, you just bring it up. That is going to be one of the toughest things as a performer to go, I've got to preempt a clap, I've got to kind of make it. Oh my lord, what's going to go on? Is that a thought?
It doesn't always happen, does it?
It doesn't always happen, no.
We love, one of our favourite, rounds that sometimes happens and more often than not doesn't, is when, as you know, when one bit of the set collapses with people on top of it. Sometimes that gets a round of applause, and there's just this real moment between us, like, yeah,
sold it. Yeah,
thank you. There's pride there, especially because, as you say, you're not always trying to get that round.
Yeah.
You're trying to be funny ideally, but also you've got to really push through with the murder mystery.
Yeah. I decided to put in a joke in rehearsal where Chris expects a round of applause, doesn't get one, is furious with everybody and carries on. And we opened, and I just kept getting rounds of applause, and I was like, "You're killing my joke. Yeah. This is really nice. Great. It just turned into a different joke. But I was very pleased with myself. I was like,
You tune more and more into the character. It's happening.
That's why we got the jobs. There you go.
That's very true. I didn't say that. I felt like I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just before we leave, do you ever put each other off? Do you ever do stuff in the play that's not supposed to happen, but you will try to put your fellow actors off?
That would be very unprofessional.
No, I can't imagine anyone doing that.
I don't think so.
Which I think is a yes. So let's ask, what's happened?
What could possibly comment? Ed, what do you...
The difficulty with our show is, because of the weird situations that we find ourselves in on stage, occasionally perhaps our facial expressions might warrant one of our colleagues to think we were trying to put them off.
But we certainly wouldn't.
But we wouldn't be actively trying to do that. It would just be, as I say, the circumstance.
So the circumstance, is there any particular moment between you two that's happened to, or are you two I would like to say the culprits? Would you try to put other guys off in the cast?
I genuinely really struggle with this, because if my character laughs, he disappears.
Yeah.
So I spend the whole thing trying to keep the straightest face imaginable. I just try, but I've got you a little bit this afternoon.
There's got to be something. I'll find out off camera, and I will tell the world. That's what's going to happen. Let's wait up. Why should people come to see the play that goes wrong, and why is it so different than anything we've ever had at the Regent Theatre?
It's just 2 hours of unashamed comedy.
Yeah, it's pure silliness. I think it's pure entertainment. There's no sort of cleverness to it except the way it's been made. Like it doesn't ask anything of you except to come and just enjoy yourself
and watch us fall over.
It's a good workout, a very good workout. You leave going, I'm aching, but that was worth it. Just everything's aching, and you just can't explain it. And then sometimes, and I think it's the same with comedy in general, you're kind of on your way home and you'll remember something else and you're like a madman on the bus going, that happened.
Yes.
Like it's one of
That is,
sometimes there's stuff where you go, that's brilliant, and you'll be remembering it forever. You will remember this show and you will want to see it again and again and again. You can only see it at the Regent Theatre until the 6th of May. So get your tickets now from atgtickets.com/Stoke. See Patrick and Ed in the play that goes wrong. Do it. Get your tickets. Thank you very much.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you.